So, good evening, guys, and welcome to another Sunday night P0. It is round 9 this evening, and tonight we head to Austria. First things first, before we get going, I think we should get a little rundown of exactly what's happening in the championship. So, driver standings, we have Rob Wills leading the way on 196 points. Matoman down to P2 now, and he's 32 points behind. So Rob got a full win of a buffer now, so Rob can afford to have a DNF, and he would still retain the lead of the championship. So Matt in P2 in 164. Then in P3 in 146 we have Matty, our defending champion. He's slowly bringing himself back into the fold. And in P4 we have Shiv on 139, P5 Michelando on 113, then in P6 we have Skarma on 90, P70 we have Dixie on 79, then in P8 we have Leon Evans on 62, then in P9 we have Mick on 57, then in P10 we have Bilton Matt on 53, then P11 is Pedro on 46, then P12 we have Laverick on 44, and I've just took my document away because I'm an absolute donkey. P12 was Laverick on 44, then P13 is Yeri on 34, P14 is Keith on 29, then we have Brown Dog in P15 on 26, then Rodders P16 on 24, he's tied with Arwin Evans also on 24, then we have Jock in P19 on 16, Dale's Hunter P20 on 9, and Metcalf P21 on 6. So on to this evening. Rob, of course, having that big advantage in the championship, can afford to take that race loss and would still come out on top of the championship after this evening. My chat is not working. Good evening, Mick and Mr. Shiv and Tom Speech. Good evening, boys, and welcome. So Austria, a track of little corners in a racetrack where we usually see grids split by very little time. The race that the league they're now racing on a Wednesday night, HR, if you watch the channel, of course you'll know. I think Scum will know better, but I'm sure it was like 14 or 15 drivers split by 0.8 of a second, so it's very, very competitive. Today is Sunday, you're absolutely right. Mike. Today is Sunday, the day of P0. A little bit of Austria, Michael. You're coming to watch Matoman bottle it as usual. And looking a bit gloom, so will we see a scamper of the drivers getting out onto track pretty quickly? That might be a telltale sign that there's some weather rolling in qualifying. And there we have Skarma getting out on the soft compound tyre nice and early. So is that a sign of weather to come? Some mediums getting bolted on. Never come to watch Matt, just support Adam. I respect it. Because again, they wants to watch Matt. He was leading the championship 4 races ago. He now has a 32-point deficit. So Skarma out on circuit. And Shiv and Mick. I mean, let's be real here, Mike. You're here to support everybody in the grid bar Matoman. That's really how it is, right? We all know it. So I expect the majority of the pack to be 104s. We just may see a high 3. Kristaps, a bit fast, mate. It's a bit, you're a bit fast for the Sunday evening, sir. So Skarma will be our first man to open a lap. Into turn 1, it's about being aggressive as you possibly can on the apex. As much curb as you dare. Skarma's going to go a little bit wide, so he's left some margin on the table there. Then the big old drive up to turn 2, finding your brake in about 80 metres. You can brake a lot later than you anticipate. I find third gear the better gear, especially when no traction, just more grip. Then hard on the power, DRS open, down to turn 4. Finding your brakes again, it's about 75 metres actually for that corner, so a little bit later. And then the guts of the lap comes at you quite thick and fast here, carry the speed through 5. Then down the hill towards 6 and 7. One of the fastest chicanes on the calendar, and through he goes. Then 2 corners to go down the hill. Well, rear of the car can get very light as you crest the hill wheel, so be very careful on entry. Get the nose of the car in, careful not to invalidate on the outside, and then tuck it up nice and neatly to the inside curb on the last corner. Get the good run off the line, and it's a 4:05 from Skarma straight away, but I think we've got Keith. No, it was Shiv coming not far behind on a 5.2. Mika Lando is on the grass speech, he's on an invalidated lap, so we'll go to Dixie. He was on next man round as Mick slots in a 5.2. Dixie on the medium compound tyre. And of course in that scarlet red Ferrari, or Rosso red, scarlet red, they'll probably get into trouble for saying that, from the Tifosi, who are obviously having a very, very good season. In real F1, old Charles Leclerc, Matoman slots into P2 and a 4.6 on the medium compound tyre. Arwin Evans, his teammate, a 4.9 on the medium compound also, so that's an interesting lap. We'll stay with Dixie though. Through the last corner he comes. Maybe one gear too little, but I think it's going to be a low or a high 4 for Adam. It's a 4.9. He slots into P4. Let's go to somebody further back. How is Speechy getting on? Or Rob Wills, our championship leader. Let's stay with other Ferrari man. Ferrari having a very good day in the office in the Constructors' Championship. They do lead by a good chunk as well, so they'll be hoping to just nail down some more points. MRD says let's go lads. So just a bit of moral support for everybody I think. So Rob Wills, our championship leader, it's going to be his first lap of the session. Where can he put his Ferrari? Nice and aggressive off the last corner, and it's on to pole position so far for Rob on a 4.2. You've got to think Matoman on that medium compound tyre has a good high 3 in the car, and somebody there just improved. Who was that came across the line? I think it was Mika Lando. 5.6 on his medium compound tyre. How is Speechy getting on? And Speechy, just as we get on board, goes to a 5.5 and up to P11. So Matty's still not out, and a couple of guys going for a few laps here. So Metcalf picks up an invalidation at turn 1, and I think that is the brunt of our first runs away. So Rob Wills, after the first runs, leads away by a little over a tenth of a second. Skarma P2, Matoman P3, but of course Matoman only 4 tenths behind on the medium compound tyre. Medium's worth 4 to 6 tenths here. It's probably closer to 6 tenths actually. Then we get Mick in P4 on that soft compound tyre, a 4.7, and then Shiv and Arwin Evans looking good. And look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 drivers on a 4.9 on the grid. Or 5, I can't count. So P5 to P10 is literally split by 1/10. That's pretty bonkers. Keith for top 9. Top 3 for Keith. Oh, I like it. I'm going to him. He's on an out lap. Man's just left the pits. I'd love to see it, MRD. If Keith can get that car on the second or first row of the grid, I'd be a proud commentator. There's nothing I love more than seeing the underdog shine. I think I'm a bit of an underdog myself, but I don't shine ever. Built on that, he's just getting out of the way. It's just Keith coming through. Oh, and he's out lap. Is Matty further ahead? We'll go to him because he's just, and Matty picked up an invalidation this and next lap, I think, out the last corner. So Jock He's actually going to be our next lead man to open a lap. So into turn 2, looked like a 16 flat sector 1, which is not too bad for Jock. Had a very good qualifying last week, and I do expect Jock to challenge somewhere up close to the top 8 today, if he can have a better race as well. He's having a cracking race last week, and he just kind of got away from him. Strategy went against him just a little bit, so he'll be hoping for better fortune. And it's a 44.9 PB middle sector for Jock, which of course it will be because he's only on his first lap, and then we got a nice view. Oh, I was hoping we are going to stay for that on board for the last couple of corners as he chucks it in to 8 and 9, falls through. We'll go back on board as he gets the DRS open and heads to the line, and Jock goes to P12. It's a 5.1 on the medium compound tyre. Again, that could be a much more competitive time once he heads down onto that soft compound tyre. So Matty eventually now is going to get going on his runs. He was a 10th down in Jock sector 1, or a 10th up, sorry. So soft tyre will always yield the lap time more in the middle sector. It's a more grippy tyre, right? So when you're turning corners you'll find more time. All tyres will do the same speed in a straight line. So this is where we'll really see Matty wind up the time against him, and it's a 44.3, so there you see 7/10. So Matty's definitely in top 5 range here, maybe much better. And he was good through the last corner there, and he just gets away with that one. He had to get off a bit, and can he put a 3 in the board? It's a 4.1. Matty has a mighty last sector and puts the car onto pole position now by a 10th, but Skarma, we got on board with him. He's just coming through the last couple of corners now. DRS open, can Skarma take it back? He can. It's a 4.15 for Skarma, and now he dislodges Matty by 1/100th of a second. Rob Wills having a wibble wobble down the back straight, and I think Rob is on a lap here. So Rob needs to find some time in this middle sector. Can he come back at the two guys up top? And he's half a 10th down as Rob, but he seemed much better there than he did his last lap we watched. So let's stay with him for the last couple of corners. Can Rob come back at Matty and Skarma? Skarma, they're able to dislodge Matty. They're all being absolutely tremendous at the last corner, and Rob Wills invalidates at the last corner, and he would have improved, but he got out just at the line there. I don't think it would have been enough. I think he would have just edged up a bit to Matty. And it's all changed. Shiv now a couple of tenths up, coming through the last couple of corners as well. The man in Papaya, DRS will pop open. He hits a little bit of the grass, and Shiv goes to P4 on a 4.4. And our top 3 now separated by just 0.3 of a second. And you've got to expect Matoman to fall into that fight if he goes to the soft compound. So can Mick improve? He does find a 10.5. He just pips Dixie, and look at that there, we've got 3 drivers almost in an identical lap time. It's absolutely crazy. Metcalf, I think he's down from what my Delta tells him. Can he get a better exit off the last corner? He does not improve, he's a couple of tenths down in his lap. Mika Lando there is key, he's getting into the pits, and oh, that was a sketchy one just as we got on board there. Built on Matt invalidated his run. So we wait on the fluster for the middle runs of the day. Evening everybody, good evening, good evening. Guys, if you haven't already, please do drop a thumbs up on the video. And if you are subscribed, hit the little bell on the channel, because it's live 4 days a week with some top tier action. We've got a good mid tier of drivers on a Monday, some esports pace, in fact beyond esports pace drivers on a Wednesday night. So a really, really competitive grid there. And then we have a realistic performance league on a Thursday. So lots of content on the channel. P0, our newest edition, and probably one of the best editions we've made, honestly. It's run by a good group of guys. And you can see from the grid, it is very, very competitive, and it pushes to a different... It's shown that even the guys that maybe don't feel they're at the top of the time trial boards or they're that competitive, that they can still put a good product out there. Don't need to be the fastest guys on the world to have good content. So Jock, one of our lead men, on a lap, or I think Speechy is actually, and he's invalidated. So Jock is the lead man, and he was purple sector 1, as you would expect, of course, onto the soft compound tyre. His first run was on the mediums, as he falls down into turn 4. Then through the kink of 5, then 6 and 7 down the hill. And a little bit laggy there, so hard for me to really judge exactly where Jock is placing the car, but into 9 and 10 he comes. Are we going to see somebody really attack the inside curb? Jock does get aggressive on it, and then into 10, he's a bit more hesitant as he picks up the throttle. Can he improve? He doesn't. He's a second down on his lap. That is interesting. So Dale Hunter, is he up any? He is not. And who's that? Whoa. Okay, there's some Jock's got some really bad connection issues. Chat, if any of the league guys are watching, you maybe want to just rewind the stream back 20 seconds. You'll see Jock cross the line, and then the time bank like a good half a sector later. Just in case you want to run your quali and then do a lobby reset just to save any issues. That would be, I think, the most sensible way to do it. Just let everybody get the quali run, and then if you're going to do a lobby reset, set it up as Dale Hunter gets a 5 place grid penalty for a severe or a collision with Laverick. So I wonder what went on there, and that's at turn 7. I see Laverick just joining back the track. So the traffic's coming a bit of a pain. So Yeri was on a lap. So Jock now just coming up. I'm not really sure what's going on here. So we've got a lot of traffic here. Rob Wells, Yeri and Dixie all towing each other on their hot laps. Not sure, Rob, I think it's connection issues. You looked very laggy. And then I just went to spectate you there and you were driving out the pits, and now it says you're back in the pits. And Rob Wills just got out of his lap there, so I'm not quite sure exactly what happened. Chubby Slug on a lap as well. Rob Wills is round. Go to Dixie, he's a 10th up. Coming through the middle sector. Turns 9 and 10 to go for Adam. He's got a car not too far behind him, but he just needs to focus on what's ahead. He's good through 9. How aggressive is he at 10? He's decent enough through 10. DRS open. Where is Dixie going to go for qualifying? He goes to P6. What about Yeri? Yeri has to get out his lap. Yeah, Jock, I'm not 100% sure exactly what was going on, honestly, mate. Keith's on an invalidated lap. Speechy coming through turn 4. Oh, a big snap at the steering there. And can we just appreciate 2 tenths separating our top 7 drivers? That is absolutely cracked. So Speechy, has he found any time? Last corner up. It's probably going to be his last run. He won't have the energy to get another, and he won't have time. And he does. He goes to P13. So Speechy gets that Red Bull up the road a little bit. Let's see if we can find somebody else. We've got Shiv now coming through turn 10 as we speak. And he just lets the nose of the car drift wide, and that'll be it over. Chubby Slug managed to get his car up to a 4.2 and up to P5. Skarma though, still holding that scalp in P1. And he is heading down to turn 2 on his last hot lap of the session. Half a tenth down sector 1. So this is where Skarma needs to try and find his lap time. He goes a little bit wide there on the exit of 4. Mika Lando's had enough for the day. Then 6, he misses the apex wildly. 6, and he picks up an invalidation there, so pressure's on Matty. This is it now for Matty. Can he get pole position? And that fun minus 0.014 would be enough for Matty to dislodge Skarma. And of course, this is for his championship defence. He was saying last week that he was coming up to a couple of tracks that he starts to like, so Matty will be feeling confident here. Let's see the sector 2 split, and it is over for Skarma. He's not going to take any further part in qualifying, and Matty is a 10th up sector 2. So there's just 2 corners to go for Matty. Is he going to put that Williams onto pole position for round 9 at Austria? Is there somebody else behind that can do something about it? Matty rounds the last corner, he gets a good exit. Has it been enough? And he loses time in the last sector. He cannot get the car onto pole position. And Chubby Slug gets his Alfa Romeo up to P3 in the grid. And I think that's it. In the calamity, it is all over. Metcalf's in an invalidated lap, and Matty lost time through the last few corners. He gave up about 0.2 of a second, and Skarma keeps pole by the smallest of margins. It's 7/1000ths of a second, and we have only 1/10 of a second splitting our top 5. Absolutely bonkers. So there it is, chat. Just look at those gaps. Half a second, splitting our top 10 drivers. It is very, very close. Skarma, of course, on pole position by absolutely nothing. Our top 4 drivers under 1/10 of a second. Jock there, standout performance in qualifying, under 1/10 to the leader. But the grid is so compressed here that... oh, this is anybody's race. Anybody's in that top 10 can win this. Anybody. It's about keeping your nose clean, getting through the first laps. And trust me when I say keeping the penalties down here is going to be massive. Take about P0. That was very, very, very competitive. It was a very exciting qualifying as well. So, the guys will take a little minute. They will get themselves prepped, because if you look at that qualifying, every driver on this grid knows that they're about to be in a hell of a fight. Make no bones about it. This is going to be a long, long night for some guys. There's going to be a lot of defending, a lot of position swapping. It's just about who's got the grit and the determination to slug it out for the full 36 laps, I think it is. Put him up. Jock's up for a scrap. You're right in the fight, Jock. And Mika Lando leaves the session. There's nothing going on with Chris. And I've received a new invitation. What's going on? Why did they send me an invitation? What's going on? Adam? Are you in the chat? What's happening? Hello? Anybody? I'm waiting. I'm waiting on somebody readying up. I don't know what's happening. I'm staring at the screen. I'm in that lobby. You sent me the invite to, Adam. Yeah, see, I was calling this earlier, Adam. When Jock set the lobby, when Jock done the race, set his time in qualifying, it never registered his time till like half a sector later, and then it was said he was in the pits when he was out on track. So I think there was some desync issues. I think we might just need to, if the guys are alright with that, Adam, I think they might just need to reboot the full thing, because I can't join the invites. It's saying that I'm in the lobby. Chris White, hood up. Chris White left. Chris White, who's that? Mika Lando. He left. On my screen. Yeah, so that's broke the lobby. If he's went completely offline and you're waiting on him ready up, it's broke. Because if he's not here, he'll never ready. It's impossible now. I think the lobby is gooped, gents. Just give me the word though. I'll play it off your call, gents. Right, Adam, I'm going to leave and see if it fixes that for me. And then I'll rejoin that session. Adam, you just tell me if that's allowed just to get going now. Has that fixed it for you? No, yeah, it's broken. Chris White's offline. Um, I don't know what's happening, chat. Oh, yeah, Rob, I'm just been staring at this screen for a while. I think as Chris White left and then rejoined, the lobby broke. Oh, we're getting somewhere, but now Jock's not in the lobby on my screen. I honestly think maybe better be in your lobby. Yeah, there was some connection issues early in qualifying, Rob. When Jock set his lap, it banked his qualifying time like 20 seconds after he'd crossed the line. It was very strange. So restart code, chat, so bear with us for a little moment. I'm just going to try and wait here and go straight to the new lobby, and hopefully they've fixed that. Dixie doing bad man things there. So hopefully everybody gets the memo. I see that. Drop me an invite as soon as that's up, Aaron. I'm just going to try and go straight from here to there, so I need to ideally try and get out before this lobby closes and ends my stream. So I can keep it just as one big stream. No, that was... I mean, it with Adam involved, that's possible, mate, right? Oof. And there goes my session. So bear with us, chat, and Mike, whoever else is here. Take us just a little moment to get into a new lobby. They'll reform the grid and then we'll get going. I'm hoping that I can go straight to the new lobby without having to set a new stream. Yeah, right, I'm not in the lobby yet, mate. Arwen, I'm not in the lobby yet. So many requests to join, guys. I'm not in a lobby. What's happening? What? Yes, I got a request to join from every single driver. So, we wait on the new lobby. Bear with us, chat. I will get in as quick as I can. I just await the invitation. So, I'm not in that group speechy, mate. I just need one of the guys to drop me an invitation. One of the guys that have me. Unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. But you know what I mean. No, oh, there we go. Jock's got me one. Jock, good man. Tom was saying to me, I think, Rob, to get me in, but I'm not in the group. I just need an individual invite. But Jock got me, and I did not need to stop the stream, and Shiv sent me one as well. Oh, the invites are flooding in for every day. I love you all. Don't apologise either, Rob. It's not your fault the game's a turd. It's very turdy. there's any consolation, Rob, the last lobby everybody had funny connection bars on my screen, but now everybody is green. So that's a good sign. Seems better. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, Jock's saying the same, that it was just a funny little moment, or just that lobby had done something very strange. The game doesn't cope very well when people leave or rejoin mid-session, and I think that's what really breaks it down. And then that starts to desynchronise, everybody's in that, and then things are just not right. So I'm hoping that we can just get a nice clean run, because looking at the qualifying, we're set for a very, very entertaining race. Championship leader, not P2 in the championship, in the top 2 in the grid, so that, well, we're set for something very entertaining, I think. And Skarner was about to get, well, he's still going to get that second chance from the front row. Let's see if he can just manage that race pace a bit better, not get caught up in any early fights, even be willing to give up a little bit of track position to just stay behind the guy and use DRS to maintain the energy, because the energy becomes a big factor at Austria, energy and penalties. If you can keep the energy up to the critical moments in the race, you'll be able to make passes. And if you keep the penalties down, opportunities will arise later in the race, for sure, because it's never there's not enough corners to split the pack. If everybody gets clean laps, you should stay relatively in the train for the full race. So, one penalty could be catastrophic in a grid so compressed. Because if you have 5 guys within 3 seconds of you, then that's a big, big loss come the end of the race. Especially if that's like a top 5 finish to a 10th, just 5th, 10th, just seems hurtful. So that's something guys want to avoid. Lav right now making that tricky decision on the tyres. And we will get set. Now remember, setups, drivers, if you're watching, set up before strategy. Top 10, stay on your tyre. Got to start the race on what you qualified on, it's only right. I think all top 10 was on the softy compounds anyway. Then would you look at that, they're all still on the soft compound. Dixie P7, I thought he was 6. Of course, Jock slotted that Alpine up to P4. So, we get a filter through. Top 10, of course, all on the soft compound tyre, and then everybody outside the top 10 go, oh, take that back. Down to Bilton Matt, going for the medium compound tyre. Laverick, Keith, Dale, and Brown Dog all sticking to that soft tyre at the moment. Of course, soft tyre's where you want to be, because the medium tyre can literally do the race distance from like lap 5 here. So any early safety cars or any early wing change, you just slap on the medium tyre and you just literally go to the end of the race. And anybody watching that maybe doesn't do it, trust me when I say that, the mediums will do 30-32 laps. So that's food for thought for anybody watching. And hopefully now the guys have had a bit of prep time. We should get going any moment. We're not broken again, are we, chat? Please don't tell me we're broken. Oh no, there's a timer. Whew. So, I'll quickly grab the restroom before we get going. So, we are on our formation lap. We'll get some data on the screen. We'll leave it on position change. Let's have a quick glance actually at the tyres. We're outside the top 10. So Keith now the only driver outside the top 10 on that soft compound tyre. Every other driver on the medium. So round 9 of P0. Row 1 of the grid will be Skarma and Matty. Row 2, Chubby Slug and Jock. Row 3, Rob Wills and Shiv. Row 4, Dixie and Mick. Row 5, Yeri and Metcalf. Row 6, Alwyn and Leon. Row 7, Speechy and Mika. Row 8, Bilton and Laverick. Row 9, Keith and Dale. And row 10, big old brown dog. Skarma slams on the ankles, needs to be careful with that. Do not want to be checking up too quickly, cause that big concertina effect. Nope, they get disqualified though. Grid nice and compressed as they fall through 9 and 10. Of course AI in control at this point. Filter all the drivers into their grid slot as we'll get on board with Brown Dog, who's having a little bit of Dale's Hunter. So Williams, and we see all the even numbers start to filter across to that right hand side as Brown Dog filters in, and we see him now take his grid slot. We'll go to Skarma and look at that for a grid slot, or a view of the grid. It's P0 above the lights as you see it. That is a great way to get the race going. Has any lights? Some lights? Lights, please, game. What's happening? No. Chat. No. They need to leave. He needs to leave the lobby to let everybody go. Sorry chat, apologies. Anybody? What's happening now, chat? There we go. So we have 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, And finally, it's lights out and P0 gets away for round 9 at Austria. It seems to be quite an even start, but Matty's second phase is better. He'll come alongside Skarma. Chubby Slug will just sit in behind. They'll get through turn 1 together. Skarma goes a little bit wide in 1, and that's going to give Chubby Slug the opportunity now to tuck in behind. Matty and Chubby Slug here coming. He's going to go for the move down into turn 2 on the first lap of the race. He'll go for the move on the brakes down the inside. Him and Matty will go side by side. It's Matty and Mato Man. And Matty's second phase is much better, and Alwyn Evans gets a 5-second time penalty for gaining a position off the grid. So Dixie managed to find a position on the soft compound tyre. Jock got the red X above his name. Adam's going to scamper through in that one. Not quite sure what's going on with that. And Skarma seems to be just struggling a little bit to get himself settled down in the early phase of the race. He went from P1 to P3. And is that delay costing time? And we've got somebody around. Who is that? I think it might be Leon Evans further back in the grid. And I think it is. He's just been overtaken by Yeri. But at the front, it's Matty from Chuggerslug, Skarma, Rob Wills, Dixie, Shiv, Metcalf, Jock, Mika Lando and Speechy rounds out the top 10 at the end of lap 1 as Matty sets the fastest lap of the race. But Chubby Slug all over the back of him, and Skarma just seems to be struggling a little bit on keeping the pace up. He just needs to settle down. He knows he's got the pace. Just look at the qualifying time. He doesn't need to over push to stay with these guys. He knows he's got the pace, so it's about staying there and just letting the race play out. What's happening further back? We've got Alwyn Evans all over the back of Keith here, and Jock just hemorrhaging lap positions. Jock, I will try and see if I can drop you an invitation. Jock 1-4. There you go, Jock. That might allow you to get back into the session. I have tried there, mate. It's Metcalf's having to peel in to go to the pits, and good use there of the pit entry as we filter back through. Has to straddle the line a little bit, but that's because he has no wing. So we'll filter back up. DRS enabled. So will we see Chubby Slug now get the run on Matty? He's choosing not to use any energy, and maybe Mato Man just wanted to get here and hold here. Skarma now down to 20% energy. He's had to spend a bit to keep himself up in that position. But now the train begins to form. So we've got our top 6 really checking out, and then Mika Lando on that medium compound tyre, of course. The lead man on the mediums. I think Speechy up a few positions as well. He's up 5. Built on Matt as well. Built on Matt, Speechy and Mika Lando. Keith and Brown they've had tremendous starts to the races. Jock, Yeri, Leon Evans, Metcalf. A bit of a start to forget for the guys. As we see, who was that? Suddenly went absolutely flying off in the background there. Who was that? Yeri has a big moment at the exit of turn 7. And that filters him back through. So Chubby Slug now up to 80% energy. And I think Mataman has no choice but go through here. So here we go. Our lead pair will go side by side, the two Mats. And further back we've got Rob Wills and Skarma going side by side up into turn 2 as well. So we'll flick to that battle because I think Rob's actually got through before the apex. So let's go back to Matty because he's now the one with DRS. And he's choosing to use a bit. He's going to fight this with Matoman. He'll go back down the inside into turn 4. But Matoman, better on the brakes, covers it off. Falls into turn 4, keeping the lead of the race. So Shiv got through on Dixie. I think that was Jock getting back control of his car. But Shiv way down in the energy, and Dixie needs not to get suckered into a fight here. He's got a nice buffer now. If Shiv's got some pace in the car, he just needs to allow him to use it. Built on Matt and Speechy, and look at that, Owen Evans gets the cut through, and he'll go now to the inside line on Built on Matt as they head up to turn 2, and Owen Evans will be even ahead before the break is on. Built on Matt nearly into the back of him there as Speechy gives Built on a little bit of a love tap on the exit of turn 2. Good evening, Mr. SPW, this is why we could not have a Gran Turismo date, sir. And I was out this afternoon. I got me comms. And you'll be working tomorrow because you're a pussy. So Built on that Owen Evans Speechy. This battle not over. Let's find a good view and just bask in the fighting. I don't really know what to say to that. I don't. Yeah, I guess. So Chev way down in energy, but he is now in striking range of Skarma. So this one could materialise into a bit of a scrap here, of course, for P4 in the grid. What do you mean by that? Have you been enjoying the switch? Have you got it already? Chev nearly has a moment on that inside curb at turn 7. And that will actually cost him a tenth or two, and he just has to double take them. We've got a yellow flag in the middle sector. I think that could be Brown Dog had a bit of a moment in between turn 6 and 7. But Chev managed to just keep his McLaren inside that DRS window. Ah, nice, you've been enjoying it. And is this a late move? It is, it's a late move for Matty on the brakes. He's jinxed that Williams to the inside line. I don't know if that was early braking there from Matoman, but here comes Matty again. He now goes to the racing line. Matoman will defend on the inside down into turn 4, but he accepts that Matty is through on the brakes, and Matoman will just sit behind, and this battle for the lead will continue. And Brown Dog out in the pits. 34% as Matoman picks up his first time penalty of the race. And that's what he's fighting, 20 and 15. So he's definitely in the driving seat in this battle. His Built on Matt picks up a time penalty for multiple warnings. He was very aggressive into one there was Adam. So there goes Shiv and Skarma. Through he goes. Skarma now down to P5 from that pole position. The early position is just slipping away. Skarma will come alive in that medium compound tyre, and we're going to see these soft tyres coming for a pit stop. And not too long as the battle for the lead continues as Matoman now through on Matoman in full course safety car. Safety car is out. So all these guys in the soft compound tyre, jackpot. Onto the mediums, to the end of the race you go. Bish bash bosh. The guys on the medium, they have a tough choice. Do you take the hard compound tyre and not race any day, or do you go soft and hope for the best? As somebody there, Mick, has a bit of a moment on the brakes. He got pole by 7/1000ths of a second. SPW 0.007. Was very good. So leaders all box in, they go. The guys on the mediums will continue on, but strategy goes to the guys at the front. Bit of double stacking for Ferrari. But it's not too bad. Adam not losing it massively. He's still going to come out, I think, behind Skarma on track. Yes, he will. So Rob Will's got a big jump on Skarma. Oh no, they were ahead. Matty and Chubby Slug, that is the battle. Oh no, Mick. Mick may be an angry friend. So everybody taking a pit stop on the safety cars, all change on the grid. So Shiv leads the way, Mika Lando P2, Speechy 3, R1 4, Chubby Slug 5, Matty P6, Rockwell 7, Leon 8, Laverick P9, Skarma now down in P10, Dixie 11, Keith P12, Jock P13, Metcalf 14, Dale 15, Yeri 16, Mick P17. Let's look at the pit stops though. Laverick, Leon, Arwin, Speechy, Mika and Shiv all still to pit. So Chubby Slug's still a net race leader. Chubby, Matty, Rob Wills, Skarma, Dixie, these guys all go to the end of the race. Adam is going to be wanting to clear Skarma quickly, get through Leon and Laverick and try and get himself onto the back of that Rob Wills, Matty and Chubby Slug fight, because that could end up being a podium with the penalties. So we may, just may get safety car on this lap. So let's see if we're going to get the call. It may be the next lap, or we might just get a late one. No, it is going to come in this lap because Mick was close enough and he eyes the game. So Shiv will take control. Of course, he's on a 9-lap sauce, so the restart here for Shiv is not going to be the best situation. It's the medium tyres, the fresh mediums in P5, 6, 7. They're going to be the guys to watch and pay close attention to as this restart gets underway. But we'll stay with Shiv as he has control of the pace, and I think he has got himself underway. So through he goes out of turn 10, and look at Mika, he is all over the back. And that soft tyre switch on just not the way it was for Shiv wanted it to be, and now Mika will try and go round the long way turn 1. Shiv will squeeze him out, and it's very entitled to do so. And look at this, further behind, Arwin Evans, Speechy and Chubby Slug. Chubby Slug will go to the inside line, but go back to the guy on the fresh tyres, because I think this is going to be the interesting one. And it's a big move from a Matoman down the inside on the brakes. It makes a bit of collateral contact. I think Arwin Evans was not expecting the overspeed of Matoman on the fresh tyre, and here he comes back on the energy now. He's on full push, he's got a clear inside of the track. Mika Lando will go a little bit deep, and Matoman now look for that cutback, and here he goes. He's back on the inside line again. That fresh tyre working out splendidly for Matoman, and he'll try and go round the long way turn 6. Bit of contact between the two. Chris White still there on the inside, and now the wrong way turn 7. He needs to be careful there, and he gets a splendid move done there through Matoman, up 3 positions into P2. But Mika is not over with this, and he'll come and stick his nose into turn 10 and turn 9, and he's got to be very careful there. Chubby Slug will fend him off for now at the moment. But here comes Speechy, he's all over the back of Arwin Evans, and Dixie somewhere in the melee has lost a bit of time. Mika and Matty, now Matty goes through, he's on that fresh tyre as well. Mika still trying to keep it on the inside there, but I think Matty will be through. And Skarma now in his fresh medium compound, and here comes Dixie as well. Dixie wants a piece of this, he'll see Arwin ahead. Can he do something on the fresh compound right down the inside line? He's not going to be able to, but Arwin goes wide. Does that give Dixie the opportunity to pounce? Not this time around, so explosive, but Dixie there looking at the inside at 7, and that was a bold Snap, look at Armin there, maybe just trying to unsight him a little bit. Even shown his presence very clear as Jerry has a bit of a moment. Into the last corner they go, and this battle's alive and well as we've got DRS enabled for the second time in this race. And look at Matoman now on his fresh medium tyre. He's all over the back of Shiv. Matty's done a very good job to follow him through. And I think Matoman is about to retake control of the lead of this race. He'll take control with 23 laps to go, and Matoman can go in there, but there's contact! Shiv and Matoman make contact, and that's going to give Matty the opportunity to pounce now, and Matty with the DRS. The contact between Shiv and Matoman really caused a mess into turn 2, and Matty was just sitting there able to bounce. Matoman loses out, and has he picked up any real damage on the car with that one? Because I don't know if Shiv has got any damage. Now Mika Lando will go to the racing line. He'll try and go round the long way at 6. Shiv will cut that off, and we've got a Red Bull of Speech in behind, and Skarma on the fresh tyres as well. He's right in this fight, and look at Skarma hunting just behind, but nothing's going to come this time around. We'll go back to Mika as he is all over the back of Shiv, and Shiv is absolutely spent in the energy he's getting on as Mika goes for a big move round the outside. Not coming this time around, and Shiv is just on defensive mode at the moment. He has got absolutely nothing left in terms of energy. He has no defensive tool, and Mika goes for a big move up the inside. He'll shoot deep on the brakes. He'll have to give that position up, but look at this, we're going to go 3 cars wide. Speechy gets put in the gas, and there's big contact. Who's going to come off us, and there's somebody in the wall. Who was that? And Dixie somehow weaves himself through the mess. I don't know how he gets through that without any damage, and Dixie now gets himself up to P5. There was massive contact between Skarma, Mika, Laverick, and I don't know who else was involved in that, but somebody came off cataclysmically in the wall. Oh my god. So, did anyone get any damage from that? I am not sure if they did. And here comes Laverick. He'll go through, and Skarma, I think Skarma, they're driving wounded. I think Skarma was the driver that ended up in the wall. And Shiv showing that he's going into the pits. Dixie will go round the long way, leaves plenty of space there, picks up a time penalty for good measure, but I don't think he'll bother much now because guys are having to box. Did Matoman pick up damage? Dixie in driving seat for P2 this race. Jock now on a solid P3, but Mika all over the back of Jock here, and he is absolutely scrapping this one out. Big move inbound from Mick, goes to the inside, makes Leon Evans go deep on the brakes, and now by a drag race both will get the DRS as they head down the hill to turn 4, but I think Mick is going to get the better of Leon this time around, and through he goes into P7. Jock still having a little bit of connection moments, but he is on the pounce. Gaining on Laverick right in the DRS zone, and Yeri is retired, and this could be another full course safety car here, and the safety car is out. So nothing changes. Guys get a little bit of time to stop. So now it is a waiting game to see who does what ahead. So Matty going into the pits. Oh, and there is a pit lane violation there for Speedy. Mick retires from the session in the pits. Unlucky for you there, Mick. So a fresh set of boots going on for Adam. Another medium tyre, I think that's a good call. Chubby Slug picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He'll be pushing on through to try and get something back here. How many positions can he get back through on the grid? And he will get to P10. So Jock leads the way. It's not me, Mick. Mick, please, bro, don't do that. I'm not the owner here, mate. Don't put the stress on me when I'm just trying to do comms, mate. It's not fair. I don't own the league. I just speak of what's happening on a Sunday night. You need to take it up with other guys. So Jock leads the way, Matty P2, Speechy 3, Dixie P4, Laverick P5, Shiv P6, Mika P7, Leon P8, Rob Wills 9, Chubby Slug 10, Scum at 11, Dale 12, Metcalf 13, Keith 14, Alvin P15. So, Dale, Leon, Mika and Speechy all go to the soft compound tyre. They will need to pit again. It's not going to do... Well, it possibly could do the 18 laps. It's a big ask. But they will be a hard car to fight come the end of the race. A hard tyre to do battle on against that medium come the end of the race. So, safety car coming in this lap. So Jock will get control, and his connection is having a bit of a mare at really a bad time, and it's going to be quite hard for Matty here to judge exactly when to go. And I think Jock has got go. Oh, no, this could be an issue. They need to be careful here. Yeah, big contact for the back. I think there was big contact. So, this time we have got going. So, Jock leads the way. Matty P2, Speechy P3, Dixie P4, Laverick 5, Shift 6, Mika 7, Leon 8, Robbels P9 and Chubby Slug down in P10. We will watch the gaps as we head up to turn 2 for the first time. Is Dixie going to make the move? There's a bit of contact there. He's a little later on the brakes than Speechy. And here comes Dixie. Don't think he wants to get held up at all here. We're going to see a move down the inside line into turn 4. Dixie on the move. Into turn 4 he goes. Bit of contact there on the exit. He just needs to be aware because Speechy's there on his inside line. But he just needs to hold back a little bit of that energy now. Get himself on a recharge. Let's look further back. It's Metcalf all over the back of Dale Sunner. We've got Skarma trying to make a charge back through on the grid as well. He's on that newer medium compound. In fact, he's actually on the older medium of every day around. And Chubby Slug not quite able to make the progress that he would hopefully have liked in the opening lap. As Dale Sunner picks up a time penalty for multiple warnings. So, Shiv on Laverick, here we go. I think this is going to be an overtake here. Shiv's talking right into that toe. And down the inside he goes into turn 2. And Laverick not able to do much there about that one. And Mika Lando here on his soft compound tyre, he'll go for a big move into turn 4, gets that job done, and Laverick will need to slot in beside, but he's actually going to end up back ahead just a little bit as they enter turn 6, so they'll go side by side as they go down the hill. And what's happened to Dixie's? Dixie had a moment, I think Dixie may have clipped the inside tyre there. And Mika Lando and Chubby Slug, what's happened to them? And Chubby Slug, he has no wing, the man in P2 in the championship. Mika Lando's retired in the gravel. Chubby Slug will be going to the pits. VSC out. Adam. He just aliened it. So pace neutralised, 15 laps to go. And we are straight back to green flag racing, and Shiv all over the back of Speechy here. The Speechy just got through on his soft compound tyre. I think it's a Speechy on a bit of a charge. I think we should have a look at the penalties. Everybody on the 3. He did, Stephen. He did too. He did a Chris. Good evening, Parrot. How are we, sir? I don't. Is that meant to be a goat, or are you actually calling me a sheep? Hope you're well, Parrot. Hope you're well, mate. And look at this, Rob Wills steaming through. He's speeding that Ferrari up to turn 2. Through he goes in the braking zone and up to P5. Yeah, I'm good, mate. I am doing well. Are you going to be reserving on Wednesday evening, sir? We head to Zandvoort. I might be needing the week off, so I may just bank you on that seat then, Parrot, so you can get a drive. Okay, so if I do need the night off, I guarantee you my seat alongside Jensen, okay? So you can at least get a drive on your return. So Rob Wills now is going to feel good about the situation. And maybe not so good because of Matty, but in terms of his championship contender at the moment, he's way down in P14. He's got a good buffer to that 32 point gap, P1 to P2. So Rob Wills is going to be very happy at the moment. But Skarma is not over with this race. A very mixed race for Skarma. A bit up and down. I don't think he would have been massively happy with his start and how he lost the positions early, but second phase of the race has been better, settled into better pace. I think he's just got to be more confident when he's at the front. I think he overthinks it. He does that good lap in qualifying and then thinks about, oh my god, I'm P1, I need to do well now. It's not so easy, and I think Matoman's day is going from bad to worse there as he has a bit of a moment out of the last corner and now comes on the lead lap of the drivers, and I think he's driving with some damage. Yes, he is. The Shiv and Speechy have a bit of a battle. And I think they both must have crossed the DRS line absolutely at the same time there, because neither of the two drivers, albeit that close, get any DRS, but Shiv back up to P3, and of course without the penalties this is for race track position. But while they are putting up this fight, Laverick is putting in the drive of the season so far and putting himself right in fighting positions for that podium as Shiv and Speechy again go side by side, and Speechy ends up a little bit in the gravel. And look at Leon here, and look at Leon's energy. I was just talking about Laverick. Look at Leon. Is he going to go round the outside at 9? I was going to say that would be very, very brave. Chubby Slug into the pits. And that may be his day. He may slug it out to the end. Now, is Leon going to go for it here into turn 1? He goes deep on the brakes. They'll go side by side. He does try to leave the space. And now we'll have the DRS. And through he will go, and look at Skarma here. Skarma now will try and make it 3 wide onto the straight, but Skarma just doesn't have the energy. He'll go down the inside into 2. Skarma and Laverick now, Skarma and Leon get the better Laverick. The 2 Mercedes boys up to P6 and 7. Oh, and Speechy into the back of Rob Wells just a little bit. Yeah. I think into 4 and trying to bridge your gap in the middle sector is probably the best move. But honestly, the grid was so compressed here today, that, like top 6 drivers, 2 tenths, so I think when opportunities come in a grid that's that close, you just got to take it and hope that it sticks. So Speechy is not over with this race. How much can he get? Can he get to Shiv in the podium? Oh, Shiv hits a big bump there, goes very wide at 1. He is a man on a mission trying to get into that DRS range of Jock. As Arwin Evans picks up a time penalty for multiple warnings. Go back to the Laverick and Skarma fight as Laverick tries to send one down the inside in Skarma, but thinks better of it this time around. He has got a big chunk of energy advantage. You'll see the red light flashing. It means Skarma's below 10%. So opportunities are rising, of course. Will they fight? Dixie able to recover some positions and time. So Leon gaining on Speechy, and is Speechy going to the pits? Speechy is away to the pits, so Speechy from P6 into the pits. That's interesting, or P5. So Leon up to P5, Skarma back inside the top 6. And Dixie now into P7. But the battle for P2, as we go down to 9 laps to go, starts to get a bit feisty. Shiv now in the DRS range of Jock. And Jock's podium at big risk here. The question is, will he fight it, or is he just going to accept very good points even if he loses a couple of positions? It's probably better to have DRS than try and defend against it. And just get pulled along. Especially if they've caught you up, you're obviously losing time, there's not much you can do to combat that. But DRS definitely helps. And Rob, of course, the championship leader, he'll not wait for a sniff of an opportunity. If the door opens, he will go. But this is where we could see Shiv make the move now. Jock absolutely spinning energy. So here we go. Shiv coming for P2 of the race. Jock will defend the inside line. Shiv goes through on the racing line. Rob Will's not going to get close enough, but Jock will have the DRS now to defend from Rob Wills, because Shiv was ahead into the DRS detection zone just before turn 2. And we have lost Matoman, Mika, Mick, Yeri, Bilton and Brown Dog, unfortunately. Only 13 drivers running, we've lost 6 guys. But the guys that are running are making the most of it, and Rob Wills now really hunting the back of Jock. He means business. So Rob choosing not to use any energy at the moment. He sees that Jock's energy is still struggling, and I think this is when we'll see Rob really try and make the move. Oh, not this time around, so he's just going to sit behind Jock for the moment. And Jock having his race of the season so far, even if he loses out here to Rob Wills, and then Jock goes a little bit deep into 4, and that's going to give the opening for Rob, and now Jock, he just needs to stay here. The gap 1.7 behind, he's got cushion. It worth to be P5 as it stands, because Skarma in P6 of course has 6 seconds in penalties, so he's in a good situation here, Jock. Considering he's not scored well in the last couple of races, this would be a great haul of points. And I think he needs to look at the bigger picture and focus on that. And take confidence getting into the next race. It's like it must be the Alpine. Dodgy connection, dodgy engines. It's interesting. And look at Dixie now and Skarma, and Dixie's he's not gonna wait around, he's gonna go through Adam, goes on Paul, into turn 2, Paul will tuck back in behind. You've got the batch of DRS coming down the run to turn 4, but Dixie gets the better exit. Good evening Mr. Rage, I hope you've done well in your race. As we've got Rob Wills clambering all over the back of Shiv yet again. And I think Rob Wills is going to take over P2 in this race. Oh, okay, one of the ones. I have many of the ones. So Dixie's gap to P5 is closing very small as we go down to 5 laps to go. Matty got a 6-second gap. So Matty about to string it to 3 races on the bounce. He is in fine form. And here is Rob Wills now getting on Shiv. We're going to see a big send into turn 2. He will be cautious about it just now and focus on the exit off of 2. And he gets on the energy now. DRS open, and here comes Rob. He's going to come on the push to Shiv. He'll tuck into the tone down the inside, but not this time. I thought he was going to go for the move on the brakes. Chooses against it. I'm trying to see. Leon Evans is still on the podium at the moment, so Rob needs to get through here. And I think this will be the opportunity. And he gets a good bit. Look at the run Shiv got off of turn 1. So Rob, is he going to go into the hairpin? And both guys go a little bit deep into 2. I think that was just a kind of working each other out. I wonder if there's a bit of tactics going on here, and Rob gets full on the energy now. And while we see the move into turn 4 this time around, he'll tuck back in behind. And he cannot get that overtake made at the moment. And Skarma all over the back of Dixie. Again, this battle continuing on to the end of the race. But we'll go back to this one between Shiv and Rob, because this race for P2 is not over, and Leon Evans is on the podium as it stands with his no penalties. Jock up to 6 seconds as well. So Dixie, if he can find some time, could gain a position. As Rob Wills picks up another time penalty for multiple warnings, and that's going to be detrimental to the end of this race. And now Rob feels like he has to go on the inside into turn 1, but Shiv with the tremendous exit using the exit curve, and he gets the launch off a turn 1 that makes it very hard for Rob Wills to capitalise up into the hairpin. And look at Leon Evans with his no penalties. He's on the road to P2 in the race from absolutely nowhere. How many positions has he gained? He's up 7 from 12th in the grid. He will finish P2 if it just stays like this and he keeps the penalties at bay. And without a doubt, coming home to a driver of the day from me as well. Without a shadow of a doubt. We've not mentioned them enough on the podium. And I say it often, pre-race, on Leon, no! Leon picks up the penalty and that changes everything. So let's go back to see what the penalties are. Jog's up to 9 seconds, Rob Wills is up to 6. So I think, as it stands, Leon would still sneak that podium. But Dixie's starting to close the distance now. We've got a couple of laps to go. How much will this change in the end? And Rob Wills and Shiv now go battle down the run, down to turn 4. Rob Wills finally gets through and Shiv. Shiv has to concede the place, and can Rob Wills now build the gap, and enough of a gap through the middle sector to get the break on Shiv before the DRS comes up? Because Shiv will know the more pressure he puts on Rob here, and the slower he keeps him, the more chance Rob has of losing position, which in the championship fight is huge. So Matty takes us on to the penultimate lap. We'll watch our lead man for a little bit. And it has been a very good race. I say watch our lead man, but Jock here, I think, is about to get a move done in Leon Evans. Or has Leon just got through on Jock? I could be wrong. And Shiv looking down the inside at Rob Wills. Both guys again a little bit deep on the apex at 2, and Dixie got that gap down to 1.7 seconds, so he's well in the window. He's not quite close enough to get Rob here. He's definitely going to get back into the top 5. He is close. Cameron's dad in to give moral support to Dixie, he's a slimmer away from that podium. He is not far away at all. He just needs to find some time. You've got guys willing you on in the chat, Adam. It is so desperately close. And the guys ahead onto the last lap of the race are starting to fall out the DRS window. So if there's opportunity coming, this is it. If you've got some warnings left on the table, it's time to spend them. How much time have you got in the car for the last lap of the race? Is Shiv brave enough to make that ditch effort against Rob Wills, or is he just going to accept that the time penalty will be enough and not go for it here? And I don't think he's going to do anything too risky. He would be absolutely madded if he did try anything risky. His jog goes a little bit deep, and now Dixie will get up within under a second of Jock now. So Dixie right in this, and there could be big change coming near the end of this race here. I wonder exactly how this will play out, but we'll go to Matty, bar the safety cars and losing the race lead from no fault of his own and just an interchanging strategy. This boy has been absolutely faultless. He's strung 3 on the bounce. The sprint weekend last week, he was tremendous. He strings it again with another faultless performance at Austria, and Matty says this championship is not over as he wins in Austria. Rob Wills is going to come home to take 2 at the flag, but Shiv is going to have a solid drive. He will get P2, Rob Wills 3, Leon Evans will get P4, Dixie up to P5. He was not too far away, 1.4 seconds would have got him onto the P4 slot. P6 for Skarma, 7 for Keith, Laverick goes to P8, Speechy P9, Jock P10, Dale will come home in P11, Metcalf will be P12, and Alwyn Evans will get the better of Metcalf on penalty, so it'll be Alwyn in P12 and Metcalf P13. But we'll watch these two as they come through the last couple of corners. Can Alwyn get close enough? We're going to see a mad dash to the line side by side. Not this time around. But Metcalf will get 12 at the flag, but Alwyn Evans I think even went to P11. What a race, what an ending. That was tense. Keith gets the driver of the day from the game. Very thoroughly deserved there for Keith. 100%. Well done to Matty. Shiv onto Rob. Oh, and I've just seen why Adam, so Adam maybe didn't spin, he was spun. That will hurt. Very good recovery in the end. And possibly one of the fastest guys in the grid, bar Matty at the end there was Mataman. But there it is, the classification: Matty P1, Shiv P2, Rob Wells 3, Leon 4, Dixie recovers to P5, Skarma 6, Keith P7, Laverick P8, Speechy P9, Dale P10, Alvin Evans P11, Jock falls to P12, Metcalf 13, and then we lost Chubby, Mika, Mick, Yeri, Bilton and Brown Dog from the race. But let's see if we can get Matty, Shiv and Rob in for a little quick chat. So where are they at? Matty. Where you at, Shiv? There's Shiv. And then we'll just get Rob. So we'll get them in. And Matty really started to find some strong form. Shiv, we're a solid P2 from P6 in the grid. I think Rob Wells will be very happy as well. And Rob joins us first. So we'll just start with Rob, since he was P3 in the grid, and we'll go P3 to P1. Good evening, Rob. P5 in qualifying. I think the pace was so close. Austria is such a weird track. It's very hard to judge. When you see a qualifying that's split by such small margins, you know the smallest things in the race will make big differences. So I think, although maybe not the biggest gains, I think P3 reasonably happy. I think you'll kick yourself a little with the penalties maybe. Could have been more, but still P3 decent enough.
All just bad. Just terrible from start to finish, if I'm honest. Qualifying just went horribly wrong. Did one lap, tried to do another. Me and Adam had got a little strategy going. We ended up with Niari between us, just not his fault. He was preparing for a lap we didn't realise. I then didn't turn DRS on, so that were all gone. Invalidated next lap, came out, messed it all up, ended up 5th. And by lap 7th, I was 16th, I think, at one point. And that had just all gone. It was just all a mess, to be honest. And it was then just a case of what can I salvage out of this disaster that's gone wrong from start to finish. And to get back to second on road, third in overall, I'm pretty damn happy with that, because that just wasn't good tonight.
And in terms of the championship battle, of course, Chubby Slug not scoring. Matty does close the gap a bit, but you had that big 32-point cushion. It'll close a little bit to Matty. I think it was more like 60 points to Matty, so it's maybe down to 50, but I think you're going to be about still 40 points clear after tonight at the top of the championship, so still so a good day in the office.
Yeah, overall I'll take that, because as I say, it was not my greatest performance of the season, let's be honest. So I'll take what I've got out of that and call it job done for tonight, because that just... Yeah, it was stressful every time. I don't know, it just seemed to be hard work to do anything tonight. I just didn't really get the flow in properly, but there we go. It was one of them nights.
I think that's Austria. That's Austria in a nutshell. You either get going or you just have one of them. You just can't get going, the flow, it's never there. And then I think when you're not usually a penalty man, so I think if you found a rhythm, the penalties probably wouldn't have popped up, or maybe one at worst.
Yeah.
But yeah, still P3, as you say. Championship lead opened a little bit more, so good day in the office and very well done.
I'll take that from not settling at all tonight. It all just sent off, so I'll take being P3, to be honest.
Well, it's a good sign on a bad day if you're getting a podium. That is a positive. It's a very good job, Rob.
Thank you.
Shiv,
Hello, friend.
P2, a good result, a solid race. Of course, not P3 in the flag, but P2 over the penalties. You had a good little battle with Rob Will, though. You kept each other pretty entertained. Once Matty had broke the gap at the front, you kept each other entertained once you were together for a good portion of that race there.
Yeah, no, I was having good fun with Rob at the end, and then I realised that I kind of thought me and Rob were in a race of our own, and then I looked. It had been about lap 33, and I noticed that Sion would have jumped both of us at that time, I think, because I had 3 seconds, Rob had 6 seconds.
Liam was set
right,
for P2.
So I thought, let's stop prattling about. If Rob gets past me, I'll literally just follow him on DRS, and I think Rob probably had slightly more pace, so if I could follow on DRS, I'm probably still up to at least P3, P2, but yeah, I think safety cars ruined that race for me. I had a brilliant little strategy in my head, and it didn't quite work out.
I think the both times they were triggered, they were just at really inconvenient times in the race. It made decisions quite difficult.
Yeah, I stayed out in the first one thinking the ones who pitted would be on a two-stop, but they'll also be in traffic. I'll pit lap 16, 17, wherever, medium till the end, and I'll have track position, and I'll maybe undercut them as well on fresher tyres, but then the safety car came out, and I think I ended up to like P6, and just had to fight my way up from there.
Yeah, which you did, of course, and then Rob picks up that extra 3 second time penalty, and once that came, I don't think you were forcing a move too aggressively after that. I think you were like, if it came, then fine, but otherwise no risk to you or Rob, just get the cars home kind of situation.
Yeah, no, once I saw that Rob had 6 seconds, I was quite happy just following him home from there.
But very good job today, Shiv. A very good day in the office, and a very thoroughly deserved P2.
Thank you.
Matty.
Good evening.
Good evening. You said last week when we spoke that you were coming on to a string of tracks that you would say maybe favour you a bit more, and that is a good way to kick off that string of circuits.
Certainly was.
Because other than losing the lead to the safety car and the alternate track guys getting track position, you were pretty faultless there today.
Yeah, qualifying didn't go particularly well. I don't think it went well for a lot of people, to be honest. But yeah, Paul got a bad start, which helped on the first lap. And then just battling with Mattelman, and then something happened between him and Shiv, which made that easier.
And then once that happened, the gap, it was just a little bit of a lonely race for you there on in. Matty, of course, Jock got the track position back on the safety car, but then with the tyre difference, it was quite an easy job in the end, right? And then I think you were 8 or 9 seconds clear come the checkered flag.
Yeah, we were rough with that. I think once past jockey, we were just focusing on not getting corner cut penalties and not making a mistake.
And I think you'll be the first driver this season to string 3 races on the bounce. Right?
Is it?
If you include the sprint, yeah.
Yeah, first 3 P1s on the checkered flag. So that shows the momentum. First time it's shown the momentum is very much in your favour at the moment, Matty.
I mean, fair play to Rob though. When I saw him down in 16th, so I was getting a bit happy, and then see him finishing third were a bit disheartening, but it's to be expected.
Of course, Rob will. I've watched him long enough now, and he will. If there's opportunities to come back through, he will definitely get that car back through there by hook or by crook. But still, you're closing the distances. All you can do is win the races, and what happens behind you is fate, if you want to call it that. If it's meant to be, it'll be, and if it's not meant to be, it won't be. But as long as you keep winning, you're doing all the right things.
I don't know if you saw, but there was one lap when me and Matterman were battling, and I proper dive bombed him. I had to take over at curb to avoid him. I thought I'd crashed into him at that point.
I'm not sure. There was a lot of action that race. We would need to. I would need to look back to pinpoint.
I feel like there might be a lot to look back on.
Yeah, my phone seems to
Yes.
think that way.
Yeah. Yep. I would agree. There's maybe some things that I could note as well. But anyway, my driver of the day before we wrap up. Very good job, Matty.
Thank you.
As I say, absolutely faultless today. And my driver of the day, I called it just before the race finished, even before he got the penalty because it was deserved. I think Leon had probably his drive of the season today. And if it wasn't for that penalty right on the last lap, or the second to last lap, he would have finished P2 in the race.
Yeah, had a great drive, to be fair to him.
Yeah, a very good day in the office for Leon. A good recovery for guys like Rob and Adam as well. Adam ended up away back, managed to recover P5. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for us this week. Where do you go next week, Rob? Or Shiv?
We go to France.
Oh, that will be very entertaining. Lots of overtaking. At
That was
France.
hard as
There
last
always
season.
is.
Pain.
On the last lap, there were 3 different winners. Matterman were winning, then I were winning, and then Rob won.
So, you heard it from the horse's mouth first. That is something to look forward to next Sunday. So well done to Matty, to Shiv and to Rob. A very good effort today on a race that maybe played with your mind a little bit and made you think on your feet, especially at safety cars. So adapted well and got the points home. So very well done, boys.
Thank you very much.
The channel will be live again tomorrow with OTL at Zandvoort. That'll be an interesting one to tune in for. And it will be me again, as always. So
Hopefully I'll
until
speak to you
then,
tomorrow night.
yeah, I will see you then.